You're listening to the 12 Days of Crusademas 2024, brought to you by the Longbox Crusade. 11 future Batman. Hello, and welcome to the 11th day of the 12 Days of Crusademas for 2024, brought to you by the Longbox Crusade. The 12 Days of Crusademas is our gift to the podcast community to celebrate the holiday season. And we're celebrating this joyous season by sharing with you some comic book titles that may have gotten by you in the past. Each day of the 12 Days of Crusademas will bring you a hidden gem of a comic series, brought to you either by one of our Holly Jolly co-hosts. We're past all of the celebrity guest stuff. It's just the core four, y'all, until we get all the way till December 25th. You might know that as Christmas Day. I'm your host for this 11th day of Crusademas, Delvin Williams, the Dark Web Before Christmas. And here are the three other gifts that the wise man gave, joining us today for today's unwrapping. First up, we have Pat Sampson. He is the founder of the Longbox Crusade. Sometimes we call him DJ Christados. Merry Christmas to you, Pat.
Merry Christmas, Delvin. Merry Christmas. We are in the 11th day. That means the 11th hour. We're getting close. Christmas is just around the corner. Well, it's actually tomorrow. So it's Christmas Eve. Woohoo! We made it this far.
Yes, sir.
But we need to put up lights. We've waited this long. The lights have been I've been putting it up what I can, but we want to get all the lights up right now. So after this recording, we're all going to be going out, doing these light stuff and setting stuff up. Top Tommy's got things figured out.
Pat.
We're working. What?
So I got some bad news for you.
What?
Jared and Jason are on mute, but we're probably not going to be helping you. But I'm going to give you a little bit of help. And, you know, like that import-export business that you have?
I do.
You know, like I made a purchase a little bit back. You know, I got it from Dave, I didn't from you. And like, I just figure, you know, if I like drop a little bit into your hot cocoa, you'll have like plenty of energy. You're not going to sleep tonight. Trust me. And you'll be able to hang up the lights. So it's just as good as help from us three.
So it's in my drink right now?
Don't worry about it. Like, go ahead and enjoy that beverage. And while you enjoy the beverage, we're going to move on to Jared Albrecht. Some call him the yard sale artist. You know, some call him the Christmas probe if HR isn't around. Anyway, Merry Christmas to you, Jared.
A Merry Christmas Eve to everyone. Oh, my goodness. It's such a magical time. And I have kind of shaken some of the presents under the tree. I didn't stir any. Just and I came with a Christmas joke for you.
Can't wait. Let's go.
I heard a rumor that Rudolph opened up his own roller coaster. I went and checked it out. I will not be riding it. The safety features on it are not appropriate. Apparently, you just get on and hold on for dear life.
It got half a chuckle.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
It did. It was like one of those, like, you know, it got away from me before I could rein it in. It still counts. Like, you know, in the world of comedy, you know, if you get a reaction, that's really the important thing.
Absolutely. Pat, I'm going to be hanging up lights tonight for my good friend Aaron Moss over at the Podcast Network.
just keep sipping the cocoa, Pat.
I'll try a little bit more.
We are going to move on to Jason Albrecht. Sometimes we call him Weasel Skull. Sometimes I forget I said anything. Merry Christmas to you, Jason.
Merry Christmas, Delvin. I'm a little bit concerned that there are no lights hung. The studio's half decorated, and well. Look who it is right here. Did you guys miss me at all?
Of course
I have been down, locked up in prison in Guatemala.
Oh boy.
Guatemala. I've been writing you to send the lawyers. Did you not get my messages?
No, Mary Jane. They must have gone to the basement, maybe. Jason?
I didn't see anything come in. And Mary Jane, this is really unprofessional. It's unprofessional. Go get me something to drink, Weasel Skull, right now. I'm taking over this right now. Sorry, guys. You know how she is.
We do.
I want to hear some explanations. Pat,
Hey,
why
Mary Jane.
are the lights not up, Pat?
Well, I'm not the only one here, but there's some other ones here. Have some of this cocoa. You might like it.
I ain't drinking the cocoa. I had enough of that Guatemalan cocoa, man. I am tripping balls right now. But I am sane enough to notice there are no lights. The maximum range of your excuse is 0.0 meters. Get the lights. Get them up.
That's not a lot of meters.
Okay. Yes, Mary Jane.
Jed.
The Guatemalan prison. This is the natural order of things. Yes, Mary Jane.
Make fun of. We can talk about it later. I got a lot of therapy to work out, but first, we gotta get this holiday party started. You are in charge of legal.
It's done. Consider it done, MJ.
I don't want to consider it done. I want it done now. You save some of that drink, Pat, and give it to Jared because he got a lot of legal paperwork to do tonight.
Yes, Mary Jane. Yep.
Delvin, you let me down.
Yes, Mary Jane.
You let me down. No chocolate fountain. No chocolate fountain.
I'm still confused about the chocolate fountain.
You're not confused. You know what I'm talking about.
Am I the
Take your shirt off and go get that chocolate fountain.
So confusing.
I'm not. I worked out all year, like thinking that I would. We can talk later.
I've been pumping some iron in that Guatemalan prison too.
Oh,
we can show off each other's muscles, in our own time. You know what I'm saying? But right now, chocolate fountain.
What am I drinking?
Don't worry about it. Lights.
Oh.
All right, Mary Jane. We're really sorry. We did not know. We'll talk more. You're right. We're gonna talk more. All right, you boys have your little playtime, but then it's down to work. You let me down, Weasel Skull. You let me down. Sorry, guys.
Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas, Jason. Should I put my shirt back on? Don't
know.
I don't either. I am very confused. You know what?
I think we just write it out like this.
I'm just gonna move on. Like as we well know, I brought a gift and it's wrapped, and then there's a stocking involved too. There's a whole thing. I'm sure you want to know what I brought. And just in case you were wondering, it's, as you heard the singing intro, today is 11 Future Batman, and that means that I'm going to be unwrapping...
Dick Dragon!
No, not Dick Dragon. Batman Beyond, #1, Volume 2, from DC Comics in 1999. Now, for a brief history of this series and the creators, Batman Beyond was created by Paul Dini, Bruce Timm, and Alan Burnett, and began airing on TV in January 1999. It was part of WB Kids Network. Quickly capitalizing off the success of the character, DC launched an original miniseries of Batman Beyond in March 1999, and followed with another mini run in late 1999. Which is what we're talking about today. In case you're unfamiliar about the origins of Batman Beyond, Bruce Wayne has gotten too old to handle the day-to-day duties of being the Batman, despite creating a super cool suit. So Terry McGinnis, a 16-year-old former juvenile delinquent, takes over the mantle. Some of the reasons I like this book are, it's an absolutely original and fresh take on the Batman ethos, and has spawned many comic books as proof of its originality. In many ways, it's Batman-like. And what I mean by that is all the heaviness and history of Batman isn't carried by Terry, but serves instead as a meaningful backdrop, which makes for fun adventures. So, gents, have you read any issues of Batman Beyond? We can start with Pat.
No, I have not read an issue of Batman Beyond.
Awesome. Good. I was worried that everybody may have been familiar with the comic book. I know people know the character, but I don't know if people knew the comic book. What about you, Jason? Have you read any Batman Beyond comics?
I have read the miniseries that came out before this one, but I haven't read any from this run.
Gotcha. Thanks, man. What about you, Jared?
Oh, yes, indeed. I subscribed to all of it. I read all of it.
All of it.
All of it.
All of it. Got it. So at least we're not confused about that. Unlike that chocolate fountain thing. You know what? Never mind.
I don't know.
I don't know either, Jared. Now, a quick summary about this particular issue. Written by Hilary Bader and drawn by Craig Rousseau, this first issue pits Batman Beyond against Batman Before, as Terry squares off against Bruce Wayne? Why in the world would that happen? And how is the villain Spellbinder involved? Now, what do you think about this issue? We'll start with Jason. Jason, what do you think about this issue of Batman Beyond?
This was a fun issue. It's a page turner. It contains all of the elements of the animated series. I really enjoyed seeing old Batman suiting up one more time. And man, I was impressed. That octogenarian's still scaling up the side of the building with a bat rope. Woo, I couldn't do that now.
I got tired climbing the stairs today, bud. I'm with you.
I thought the story was really good as well. There's a pretty good twist in it. It's, the person that you're originally led to believe who's had their mind wiped and altered, turns out not be the case. I thought that was fun. So well scripted, lots of it's going to score high on the candy cane scale with humor, heart, spectacle, and art. It's Batman Beyond was a great character that was developed, and obviously it's run into a great comic book series as well. So
appreciate that, Jason. Let's go to Pat. Pat, what do you think about this issue?
Since I've not read any Batman Beyond before, and I'm just lightly familiar with the cartoon adaptation, or really just the cartoon a little bit, when I started reading the story, I was getting kind of confused. It was, like you said, who really was being altered here. And the way it was coming off, I'm like, am I missing pages? What's going on? Especially when Bruce looks at the clock and then it changes again real quick. And I was like, what am I missing here? And as the story went on, it started to uncover, and it finally came together, like, I think midway through, and like, oh, here's what's going on. And then the beginning made sense. And I really enjoyed that, because I went from confusing to just like trying to understand it. And I'm like, what am I missing? And then finally seeing it all the way through, I was like, wow, that was really an impressive way of telling a story, because it had me turning the page to continue on to figure out what's actually happening. And I really enjoyed it. The artwork as well, too. It's got that cartoony kind of vibe, kind of like that Batman and Robin, or the early animated Batman Adventures, I think it was the adaptation of the Batman cartoon as well. So it had that kind of great feel to it. Yeah, just an interesting story. Loved the concept of it. And just as you mentioned as well, too, there's some Batman stuff to this, but Terry doesn't have all that heaviness on him. There's some heaviness Terry's got to carry, and that he goes through with his family and that. But I can see where this is kind of like a fresh new take on it, and I like it.
Yeah, I'll give you a little truth in advertisement here, Pat. Like, I read it last night, and maybe I was distracted or something, but I read through it the first time. I was like, wait, hold on, wait a minute. Who's hypnotized? Who's not hypnotized? What's going on here? And then, like, I read it again today. I'm like, oh, okay, I get it. So it got me too. I was a little bit lost in the sauce on that one myself. So, Jared, what about you? Were you lost in the sauce, or were you found like the entire time?
I was found the entire time. Of course, I had the advantage of having read it before. Been many years, so I'd forgotten the twist that, the whole time he's like, you got to snap out of it, Terry. And then he was the one that needed to snap out. Very clever. Very clever. Every time I read this or I see Batman Beyond, I think, how in the funky festive fruitcake have they not made a movie out of this, especially with Michael Keaton? They're like, oh, we're going to bring him back as Batman in The Flash, and we're going to put him in that Batgirl movie that never came out. I'm like, why don't you just put him as this Batman? He'd be so good. Cast any young, fresh-faced kid from the dang WB, if that still exists anymore. I really don't know, but you know what I'm saying?
I think it's the CW now.
Yeah, of course. I'm an old man.
Nobody watches us anymore.
Jason's doing the frog.
Doing the frog.
Welcome back. Never mind. Anyways, this is begging DC to do a movie for it. It'd be so good. Like you can't. Well, I was about to say you can't miss. I forgot that I'm old and grumpy about movies now. You can absolutely miss, but with Michael Keaton is at the perfect age now, and he still looks good. Anyway, let me get back to the comic. Pat's right. The art's great. Really evocative of the series. The twist was good. And man, one thing I'd forgotten is the mileage that this series got out of bringing back Ace the Bat Hound. And it just makes me happy every time I see Ace the Bat Hound in the book and in the cartoon. So yeah, hats off to a creative team that, you know what, I'll be honest with you, I didn't recognize a single name, but wow. Hilary Bader, Craig Rousseau, and Rob Lee, along with Lee Loffridge and Tim Harkins, put together an incredible project for a lot of people who, I mean, I'm not trying to belittle them. I just hadn't heard of them before. I hadn't remembered, at least. And
I've heard of Craig Rousseau, and I can't rember why. I think he drew some issues of Alpha Flight.
Ah, okay.
Which would explain why.
You hadn't heard. Only Shaq has heard of them. But wow, what a great book. Definitely, I think checks all the boxes that we love here at Crusademas that I think maybe not enough people checked out because they might have just written it off as an adaptation of the cartoon series. I can't actually remember if this, I want to say maybe the original miniseries was adapted from actual cartoon episodes, but this one is when they went on fresh stories. That's my memory of it. Can't say for sure, but either way, more people should have been in on this, and it's just great. And I want to say post New 52 that they brought it back with Dan Jurgens at the helm, and it was also very good. Again, Jared's hazy memory.
Yeah, so I did some digging, and it looks like I was incorrect about Alpha Flight, but Craig Rousseau, he drew Impulse for a decent amount of time. After Impulse, he was a semi-regular artist on Batman Beyond and Harley Quinn. And he worked on such titles as Young Justice and Batman, and the Batman titles Gotham Adventures and Detective Comics. So he was very familiar with the Bat universe, among other things. And since I'm talking about other rando stuff, I remember hearing from somewhere on the web that the people who made Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, was that the first one, Across the Spider-Verse? Yeah.
Into the Spider-Verse?
Into the Spider-Verse, and then it was Across the Spider-Verse. So the makers of that, cool cartoon, like really timely music that fit immediately with the storyline, like, great, gritty, awesome, cartoony look, all of that and everything. They went to Warner Brothers and said, hey, we want to do that with Batman Beyond. And Warner Brothers was like, nah.
Wow.
And I'm just going to let that stand on its own because it's freaking incredible. It's like, do you not like money?
Shoot, I can remember when they did Batman Beyond hit, they did a similar thing with Spider-Man. I think it's called Spider-Man Unlimited. It was an animated series. It was very Batman Beyond-ish. Like, follow the trends, my man.
And it wouldn't be the first time Batman has followed Spider-Man and vice versa. I mean, Batman had Catwoman, Spider-Man had the Black Cat, it's the greats borrow from each other. That's what they do.
And you bring up a great point. So let's say they do it animated, and I'm just making the show longer for Jason to edit. Let's say they do animated. Well, now you don't even have to just get Clooney. Keaton, but you could get a Clooney or an Affleck or some other Bat actor to do the voice. It could be fun. It could be someone, or multiple universes could have multiple Batman voice. Anyway. I looked it up, by the way, while we were chatting, and Dan Jurgens did pick up the series around 2016, 2015.
Okay, so awesome. So they did bring it back, and I would imagine Dan Jurgens did some great work. Because
I read a few of them, and they were solid. Yeah, I mean, Dan Jurgens. He's not Dan Jurgens. At all.
Right. Very unsurprising. He's a spectacular writer. In any event, gentlemen, it's now time to rate your interest in the series using the official Crusademas candy cane scale on a scale of 1 to 12 candy canes. 12 being extremely interested and 1 no interest at all. How many candy canes would you rate your interest in pursuing more issues of this title? And like, no pressure on you guys. But Mary Jane said if I leave behind any more than, I don't know, about 2-3 candy canes, that she's going to be even more on the warpath than she already is. So no pressure. I wouldn't do that. I would not like just try to salt the ground here, to make sure that I got more candy canes. I wouldn't do that. I'm beyond that. But Mary Jane might get you. Anyway, Jared, we're going to start back with you. What would you rate? How many candy canes are you going to give your old buddy Delvin?
So the first miniseries was 6 issues, as you said. The second one ran from 99 2001, went 24 issues. There's absolutely no way in heck I would pass that up in any kind of back issue bin. And you know what I would do with it if I got all 24? And probably 24 is the perfect size for hardbound. That's what I'm going with. It's 10. It's 10, 11. It's 12. It's 12 candy canes. It's all 12. Yeah. There's no way it's 12, by the way. There's no way I would pass this up out of bins and send it directly to Tim Benson and get it hardbound. This is such a good book. 12 candy canes all the way. What a fantastic series. Don't miss out on this one, listeners out there in Listenerland.
What about you, Jason?
Well, humor, I think humor was the one element that really appealed to me from the Batman Beyond animated series. And this comic really captures that. It was kind of like having the Batman universe, and Terry McGinnis brought a little of that Spider-Man fun into the Batman universe. And it was really captured in this comic. So I'm giving that a full 3. Heart 3 as well. You feel for Bruce Wayne being all alone in that big house. And in your heart of hearts, that part of the reason why he loves Terry McGinnis and continues the Batman legacy is he's lonely. And you get that feeling in this book. Like, how do I get him ungrounded? Or at least get him to be able to come over to my house, right? So you get that feeling, and that hits me in the feels. 3 for that as well. Spectacle, you got old Batman fighting Batman Beyond. Who wouldn't pay good money to see that? That's a 3. And then art, it's tough sometimes to have the art to mimic the cartoon animated series, and this book really pulled it off. I could see this playing out in my mind as an episode of Batman Beyond, and so well done to the entire art team. And Mary Jane also said that if I left any candy canes behind, she was going to make a shank out of it, a prison shank, like she learned to do in Guatemala.
Yikes.
I've never been shanked by a peppermint candy cane before, and I don't intend to start now. So 12 candy canes for you, Del.
You die, but it's minty fresh.
That's right.
It probably tastes good.
That would be a sweet ending, right? Yeah,
Why is Pat licking my wound?
Disgusting jokes aside, we will finish with Pat.
Well, I'm going to keep the train going here, Delvin. I'm going to give you a full 12 candy canes as well, too. Like Jared said, I probably passed this up back in the day, but now, man, if I find these in the bins or wherever, I'm definitely going to grab these and go back and read through these stories of Batman. And like Jared said too, again, you want to revamp Batman in the movie universe? Do this. Just get a fresh take. That way, down the road, you can bring back normal Bruce Wayne Batman, younger Bruce Wayne Batman, but gives Terry some love and just let that go for a little while. So like a refresher. And I think that would be really cool.
Or could you imagine, they're like, I don't like whatever Batman that they make, just mention something about like, I'm preparing for any contingency. Like what happens when I get too old, like I'm coming up with a suit for that contingency. Mm-hmm. And then they just show the costume and people will be like, and it would open up all the buzz in the world for them to possibly do a Batman Beyond live action.
Oh, man.
So basically, WB, you need to hire the Longbox Crusade, and we're going to get you. We got an artist already, and then we got like 3 other bozos that can just do. We can be strap hangers. Before we get too excited, first of all, like I think this is the first time I got all the candy canes, so I'm ridiculously flattered. So thank y'all for that. One last recommendation for the series. I was reading through a present run of Nightwing, which Tom Taylor is writing, and it has been spectacular. And I think I saw an advertisement in Nightwing while I'm just all in my good, oh my God, this is a great story feels. And there was an advertisement for Batman Beyond. And I'm like, man, I ain't read no Batman Beyond in a while. I need to bring this back to the fellas. So it was something that I had even forgotten about, the comic book part of it, and just wanted to bring it and share it with my friends. And so I'm glad that y'all enjoyed it. There's a reason that a cartoon that was on air for just 56 episodes is now etched in the Batman legend. It's fun, fresh, original, and it's absolutely worth your time. Go buy a comic or check the series out or the movies, because they made some animated movies and they were awesome. Anyway, that will wrap up day 11 of the 12 Days of Crusademas. We'd love to hear from you if you're familiar with any of the comics we cover here on the show, or if you give one of our recommendations a try. Let us know what you think about it. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, look for Longbox Crusade. You'll find us. Email contact@longboxcrusade.com. Phone number 707-532-5269 if you would like to leave a voice message. That is 707-532-LBOX.
Pick up the lights. Put them up.
Yes, Mary Jane. And if you're loving Crusademas and didn't get a chance to listen last year, you just want to hear more Crusademas, if you scroll back far enough on our feed, you will find all the episodes from Crusademas past, from 2017 all the way up till today. Thank you for listening, everyone. Be sure to come back tomorrow to find out what the next gift is from under the tree here in the festively decorated Longbox Crusade Studios. And tomorrow is the best day of the year. It is Christmas Day, and Pat will be providing us a fantastic issue. I just know it. Merry Crusademas, everybody. I'm supposed to give a holiday greeting here. I just simply want to say, find opportunity to love somebody. It is worthwhile for yourself, and it's worthwhile for the person as well. We need more light in this world, and we just need to keep working hard to keep providing it. You can't let the darkness win. And with that, DJ Christados, play me a Christmas jam.
We can do whack.
All songs, song clips, and characters discussed are copyright of their respective copyright holders, and no infringement is intended. We are just fans that like to share our love of comics.
Outtakes.
All three fellas are on mute because we run a professional outfit around here, folks. You might think we be f***ing around, but we don't be f***ing around. We're serious. I'll figure that's going to find a way into an outtake.
I'm f***ing around.
Son of a bitch. Okay, correction. Jared around. No one else around. We're starting in 3, 2,